Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. And it's Sunday night, y'all. It is January 1st, 2023. Happy New Year's. And we're kicking off the new year right with our Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully everybody's excited for a good show tonight and excited for a great year of good shows. Want to get things started off, kick it off by giving a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Remember, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't been over to Gator Jim's, make sure you do so. Tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you, and you get a free gift. So make sure you stop in and see our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Also want to give a shout out to those of you who are sending stars. John Fisher, Richard Blazak, Jim Evans, Jasmine White, Steve Meeky, Tegwin Stockdale, Jim Evans. Also, of course, D Beers with 1,200 stars. Thank you so much, everyone, for John Fisher as well, for sending those stars. We really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Instagram, Trovo, Twitch, stars are a way for people on Facebook to show their support and kind of helps us fuel these live shows and keep things running for you guys. So we really appreciate your support and the support of our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Scott Flynn, I see you, man. Thank you for those stars. We're going to be giving away some free trips tonight. We're going to be answering your questions live, talking a little bit about nearshore and offshore fishing, and giving away lots of free stuff. So hopefully everybody's ready for another great off-the-hook live stream show. Stephen Batchelor, what's up, buddy? Thanks for those stars, man. Now, also want to give a shout out to our supporters. If you're a supporter in our private supporters group, we really appreciate you, especially. Really makes things possible for us. So thank you, all the supporters out there and Facebook land in our private supporters group. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's only $4.99 a month. Cheaper than a cup of coffee, and it lasts you all month. It's private access to our private group. You get access to the after show every week during our live show. You get a little bit more one-on-one communication, and it's a lot of fun. So check out the supporters group. If you haven't done so already, it's a great way to stay connected. Tony Barnes, appreciate those 200 stars. Ryan Kelly, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you as well. Now, also, don't forget to comment on the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, Trovo, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. We really appreciate knowing where you're watching from, and it kind of inspires everybody else to let us know where you're watching from, and lets everybody know who's watching with them, and potentially you're watching with someone who lives down the street or next door in the same town who enjoys fishing too. So make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from, and then also don't forget to give the video a like. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Trovo, Twitch, it doesn't matter. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. We really, really appreciate if you can comment, like, and then especially share the video as well. So comment, like, and share the video or the stream. That really helps us to reach more people, and we super, super appreciate it. Plus, you got to like and comment in order to be eligible to win on Facebook. So go over to facebook.com, find the Hubbard's Marina page, not a group, not another page. You have to be on the Hubbard's Marina page. Find the live video, comment once, like the video, share the video too, please, and you're entered for a chance to win. Larry White, appreciate that support, my man. Thank you so much, buddy. Also, don't forget as well, every week we talk a little bit about what we're catching now, show you some photos inshore, nearshore, and then offshore, and then from there we go into the weather, talk a little bit about the weather, what's going on now, what's coming up. Then we get into your questions. If you do have a question you want answered live during the show, you have to text in your question to the phone number on the screen. Our main office number, 727-393-1947. If you don't do that, you can't get your question answered live during the show because the questions, they disappear really, really quick. and we don't get to see all your questions in the comments field. So make sure you text them to that phone number on the screen that we just said. All right, with that, let's get into the photos. Show you guys what we've been catching, what we've been seeing. Nina McCormick, thank you so much, Nina, for those 500 stars. Big black drum, Upper Bay, Back Bay areas. We've been seeing some big black drum around some dock lines, some mangrove shorelines. A lot of big black drum moving around, especially kind of early to mid-morning. We're seeing the Jack Crevalle, same thing, early to mid-morning, Upper Bay, around grass flats, mangrove shorelines, any oyster bars, plus residential dock lines. We're starting to see some of those Jack Crevalle around residential canals as well. Lots of sheep's head around the area, dock lines, bridges, piers, jetties, rock piles. Lots of good area to find these sheep's head. Here's a monster sheep's head from one of our Salt Strong members fishing a seawall. A few snooks still moving around the pass, surprisingly. I was actually down at Don's Dock today talking with our good friend Jim Nassett from Pro Marine. He's got this beautiful yellowfin with quad 450R Mercuries, and he's talking to us about these new V10 Mercury outboards. Even though we love our Yamaha outboards, he was filling us in on all the cool stuff Mercury has coming out, because Pro Marine over there in Bay Pines, they sell a ton of boats. They sell pretty much only Mercury, but they do a lot of Suzuki as well. And they have some Yamaha, but mostly Mercury. So Jim was telling us all about the new cool Mercury stuff. Long story short, drooling on his boat and watching big snook swim by in between these big schools of mullet. It was pretty cool. So still seeing a lot of mullet around, which is pretty crazy. Now, I see some comments coming. Are you a Mercury? Are you a Mercury guy or gal, or are you Yamaha? I mean, for us, we've tried them all. Yamaha has definitely been the most reliable, most readily available, most easily worked on, most easily accessible parts. Yamaha has just been really good to us, and the customer service has been unmatched. Now, Pro Marine is really great, but Central Marine, who we deal with for our Yamahas, has also been really good as well. We're blessed in our area to have a lot of really good mechanics, unless you have a Suzuki, and especially a Honda, it's really hard. Suzuki's not as bad. Honda's impossible. Try to get a mechanic to work on a Honda outboard, you've got no shot. No shot. So Yamaha is nice for that reason. A lot of people work on them, and the parts are really readily available. So that's why we like working with our friends over at Yamaha. Plus the people there, the support has been amazing. Trout action. We got off down a rabbit trail talking about motors, but trout action has been heating up as water temperatures have cooled off. Shorelines, beaches, jetties, piers, docks, bridges, grass flats. It's all hot for those trout. Finding those little potholes, those little cuts, a little bit of area where you have a little bit of wind protection has definitely been holding really active trout, especially in shallower grass flat areas where they can find a little reprieve from some warmer water. Definitely has been working out really well. And actually, I just had an idea. I want to try to pull something up for you guys. Our friends at Salt Strong pulled up a cool video. Can you access, actually I'll email it to you, Josh, as we go through these next set of photos. But Salt Strong had this, they talk a lot about this 90-10 rule. And they had this video where Joe is showing a shoreline from some drone footage. And basically, so let's pretend this is the shoreline and the wind is blowing this way all night. So this protected shoreline over here, all these fish over here are protected from the wind. Josh has already got it pulled up, so we'll just play the video. I'm sure Joe won't give us a copyright claim Hopefully not. But this is a cool video and it explains
Talking
a lot
90-10
inshore
fishing zone evidence. Hey there, Joe Simons here with Salt Strong. Wait until you see this. If you're not familiar with what the 90-10 zone means, it simply means that 90% of the feeding fish can be found in 10% of any area at any given tide, time of day, etc. This is massive because that means if you're not fishing in the 90-10 zone, you are not going to catch fish, or your chances go way, way, way down. Vice versa, if you are fishing in the 90-10 zone, which I'm about to show you in this amazing footage here, your chances of catching fish skyrocket. This is what separates the people who catch a lot of fish and don't. Some of us get lucky and just find ourselves in the 90-10 zone and we catch a lot of fish and we can't really ever put it together on why it happened. There's others, like a lot of full-time guides, they know how to find this 90-10 zone. That's why they're so consistent. The good news is we have a recipe that we put together. It's 3 steps that enables us to find this 90-10 zone in any given area. You know, Texas, Florida, Virginia, the Carolinas, it doesn't really matter. It is predictable and it is different in every area. Every area is obviously a little bit different, and I'll tell you how we can give you that in a second. But first, let me show you this evidence from the drone on the 90-10 zone. And so what it means, as I said, is that in any given day, time, etc., 90% of the feeding fish are going to be in 10% of any area. Let's assume this whole screen here is 100%. So I'm about to show you that 90% of all the fish in this entire screen, and this doesn't matter how big of an area or big or small of an area you do, this always holds true. We've taken the drone up so many times to prove this, and that 90% of all the feeding fish are going to be right in this area. Keep looking down in this white pothole here, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So watch as I go down here. So the drone's going down. You can see right here, there's a pretty big fish. Look at these right here, and this is still up really, really high. And you're about to see a ton of fish. I mean, look at the size of that snook. These are all some redfish over here. There's also some trout mixed in. I mean, there are a ton of fish all right here in this one pocket. That's a really big overslot snook right there. I mean, look at this. Oh, wait. Oh, these are all trout. I mean, look how many fish are all right here in this one area. This is the 90-10 zone. And guess what? We caught a lot of fish right here in this spot because we were able to predict that they would be here. And let me just tell you why real quick so you can understand why we knew they would be here during that day. This was the winter, and this is obviously for the winter time. I'm doing this video here, why it's cold. I got a jacket on. What happened was that evening, the wind was going this way. It was going from left to right. Obviously, this is a little bit of a weird angle, but it was going this way. So this was the wind-protected shoreline. What that means is this shoreline is going to be slightly warmer than the rest of this bay that was wide open. It was getting hit with chop and wind all night long. The area that doesn't have the wind hitting it because these mangrove trees were blocking it, this is going to be maybe 1.5 degrees warmer, but that's where the fish will go. And when they find a pothole like this, which is a type of structure, they are going to be here. So we were able to look at this area on a satellite map and predict with pretty accuracy that the fish would be here, and they were. When we took the drone up, obviously they were just stacked in here, and guess what? That was where we caught fish. Now what happens is the majority of anglers go out and they're just fishing the whole shoreline, and by the time they get here, they don't either.
You guys get the idea of what I was talking about. And it's a really cool video, and that's just some of what Salt Strong has. So I was actually got that email today, and I was like, all right, you got me. They sent some really good emails. And so I opened it and started watching. I was like, this is really cool. This is a great explanation. Because I try to talk about that, but it's hard. I was just trying to do it with my hand, and it's a lot more difficult, where Salt Strong does a really good job trying to explain it. Plus, that same rule applies when you're going to a new area, say you're not super familiar with it, using the Smart Fishing Spots app that Salt Strong has, or Google Maps if you're not a Salt Strong member, which is basically the Salt Strong Smart Fishing app is basically Google Maps, but then it overlays all this other information. Like it tells you where the grass flats are, the oyster bars, the tides, the weather. It's crazy. All this information. It's really cool. But if you don't have that, you can always just use Google Maps and look for areas that are going to be wind protected. It's going to be sun baked, because remember, as that sun rises in the east and sets in the west in the afternoon, once that sun is more towards the west, baking a seawall from midday to late afternoon, that seawall is going to be radiating heat. And just a degree or two of temperature difference is really all you need to stack up bait, stack up snook, trout, redfish. So when you're inshore fishing, remembering all this stuff, especially in this time of year, super, super, super important. How do you get that video? I didn't let you watch the end of it because you can actually order your own spot dissection. It's really, really cool. And Luke and Joe will provide that at Salt Strong. So Josh is going to drop that link in the comments for you guys. So don't watch it now. After the show, definitely check it out and finish it up. Salt Strong does a great job for sure. So check out some of their stuff. And if you go to saltstrong.com/Hubbard, you can actually become a Salt Strong member. And when you become a Salt Strong member through that link, it gives you our snapper fishing course, our mangrove snapper fishing course, our grouper course, all of that stuff. So saltstrong.com/Hubbard. If you're thinking about becoming a member, definitely use that link because then you get all that offshore content absolutely free included in your membership. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're thinking about becoming a Salt Strong member. Now, let's talk a little bit about some nearshore and offshore. Let's work our way out a little bit deeper here. Now, these gag grouper have been biting really, really well for us. We've been doing really well on the gag grouper, but it is the end of gag grouper season, unfortunately. They closed at the end of the day yesterday, but the good news is red grouper opened. So gag grouper have closed, red grouper have opened, scamp grouper remain open, strawberry grouper remain open. So plenty of other great fish to catch. Gags have closed, red groupers are open, lane snappers are open. We're excited about that stuff. Hogfish bite's been going really well for us. We've been really targeting the big gags, but we have the red grouper dialed in offshore, and we're ready to get after them. Near shore, we've been dialed in on the gags, trolling on the hub, on our private charters. Now we're going to be going after those red grouper, lane snapper, and hogfish near shore. So excited to get back out there and target these red grouper and keep them. Triggerfish closed at the end of the year, but we've got, again, those lane snapper to be able to go out and catch again. So some bad news and some good news. Gag grouper, triggerfish are closed. Red grouper, lane snapper are open. So we lose 2, we gain 2. Still plenty of fish to catch in January. So many times I hear people say, well, grouper season's over. Yeah, one grouper season closed, but now we have another one opening. So we've got red grouper, we've got lane snapper, we got tons of fish to go out there and catch. And this year's a little different. In 2023, we are, for the first time in probably 30 or 40 years, we're completely altering our business schedule. Normally, we have one of the big boats in dry dock starting around Labor Day through around mid to late October. This year in 2023, we've flipped that on its head. Instead of taking a boat in dry dock in around Labor Day till early to mid-October, we're now going to dry dock January. So, like tomorrow, the Friendly Fisherman is going out of service. It's going up to Tarpon Springs. It will be in dry dock until around early February. And because of that, no 39 hours in January, early February, and the 10-hour trips will happen on the Hub, our smaller private charter boat. So things are a little different this year in 2023, and the reason why is come September this year, Gag Grouper opens. Gag Grouper's only open September, October, and the first 10 days in November. So if we didn't change that dry dock schedule, essentially we wouldn't have 39-hour trips for almost half or more of our Gag Grouper season. So because of that, we changed our schedule, and we've altered the way we do business to make sure we can capitalize on those Gag Grouper in that short season. So Gag Grouper 2023, September, October, first 10 days of November. We actually have a bunch of 39-hour trips. We have 19 more added 39-hour trips around that time frame to try to capitalize on as many gag grouper as we can possibly get out there in deeper water September and October, and then hopefully by end of October they'll start pushing in for us, and we won't have to fish quite as deep. But that's the plan for 2023, and that's why we don't have 39-hour trips in January. But we do have some other special scheduling stuff that we want to talk about tonight too, so I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole. But remember, if you have any questions, you can text in your questions to the phone number on the screen. 727-393-1947 is the phone number you want to text. And remember, if you want a chance to win free trips, comment. Make sure you comment on the video and make sure you like the video. And that has to be done on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. But if you're watching on YouTube, Trovo, Twitch, Instagram, whatever, make sure you like and comment there too. All right, let's see who the first lucky winner is tonight. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 tonight, a 10-hour all day for 2 tonight, and a 39-hour trip for 1 lucky winner. Unfortunately, Salinity Gear gift pack is no more. Not our choice, unfortunately, guys, but no more Salinity Gear gift pack. But we still got plenty of great trips to give away. So let's see who the lucky winner is tonight of our 5-hour half-day trip for 2 guests. 5-hour half-day for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Sarah Friedman. Look at that. Her profile photo, I think, is the back deck of a party boat. I love that. Love that. Heading offshore. So congratulations, Sarah Friedman. You're the lucky winner of that 5-hour half day for 2 guests from Tampa, a local Tampa winner. Congratulations, Sarah, on your big win. Remember, if you're picked as one of those lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip by texting us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. That's how we're going to get you that winning certificate, by texting us your full home address on the screen. All right, let's see here. Let's see what's next. We talked about our trips. Let's get into the events. We got a lot of events coming up this month. January has stacked up on us a little bit. We took a month off for Christmas. We didn't have a lot of events in December, and they've stacked up a little bit on us in January. Now, if you missed our most recent event, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, you missed an awesome experience, a great time, killer food, good people, great cold beer. It was a great experience. Final Friday, every final Friday, the last Friday of every month, we're throwing a big event inside Johns Pass. It's called Final Friday. So when you think about end of the month, you might think about paying bills. You might think about your accounts payable. You might think about invoices. Think party time, event time, Final Friday, every Final Friday of every month. Big event inside Johns Pass. It's Johns Pass wide. Every business in Johns Pass will hopefully soon be throwing big parties every Final Friday. I know at Hubbard's Marina we do it big. We give away free food, free drinks, free beer, and we have killer deals going on in the shop. So join us Final Friday. January 27th is the next Final Friday event. We have the Facebook event up. Josh is going to drop that in the comments for you guys, and we're going to dial it in as we get closer to. But definitely don't want to miss out on Final Friday, January 27th. Richard Fonzo, appreciate those stars, buddy. And earlier I saw Tim Dykes with 600 stars and Lance Hall with 500. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. And we really appreciate it. So Final Friday, January 27th, we're going to have a crawfish boil, maybe some other cool stuff. We're actually going to try to get some vendors. Might have some boiled peanuts, might have some Philly cheesesteaks, might have some other cool stuff too. So stay tuned. That event will hopefully grow more and more and more. So January 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. Mark it on your calendar. You do not want to miss the next Final Friday and every Final Friday here inside John's Pass. Also, January 22nd, we're just going to work backwards this time. So January 22nd, 2 p.m., Bass Pro Shops, Sunday, January 22nd, 2 p.m. I will be at Bass Pro Shops hanging out with you. We're going to be giving away free trips. We're going to be talking fishing in person. It's going to be a great time. So join us January 22nd, 2 p.m., Bass Pro Shops. Then back it up a little bit more, just 2 weeks away, January 13th, 14th, 15th, Seafood Fest 2023. John's Pass Seafood Festival. If you haven't been to one of these, my grandfather started these events back in the 60s, early 70s. Huge John's Pass wide event. Great time. Come see us at Don's Dock. Hubbard's Marina is not super involved in Seafood Fest because we just kind of stay over in our corner and we're focused on our trips. And with the traffic, it actually makes it a little bit difficult to run trips. So we're more focused at Hubbard's Marina during Seafood Fest on promoting it and talking to people about our trips and stuff like that. But down at Don's Dock, we're making it bigger down there at Don's Dock. We're going to roll out our seafood display. We're going to be out there having a good time. There's going to be a big concert stage in front of our property over there at Don's Dock. So come out and see our new location on the east end or opposite end of the boardwalk from our main dock at Hubbard's Marina for Seafood Fest, January 13th, 14th, and 15th. Then our next event, backing it up a little bit more, January 11th, only 10 days away. We're going to be at O'Brien's Fishing Club for their monthly meeting. We're going to be talking at O'Brien's Fishing Club. That is at O'Brien's Irish Pub in Brandon, 701 West Lumsden Road in Brandon. So if you're over there in Brandon, I'm going to be there twice this month. January 11th at O'Brien's Irish Pub for the O'Brien's Fishing Club meeting, and then January 22nd, 2 p.m. for the Bass Pro Shops fishing conversation. So definitely join us for those events. Eric Seaborg, appreciate those 400 stars. Oh, and a 500 right before that, so 900 total. Really appreciate that, Eric. Thank you so much. So those are our events, January 11th at O'Brien's Fishing Club, January 13th, 14th, and 15th, Seafood Fest, January 22nd, Bass Pro Shops, 2 p.m., and then also January 27th, Final Friday. Don't miss out. Next thing we want to make sure we mention is our slow pitch jig fishing schedule. 2023 schedule is out. You want to go fishing with us in 2023, the specialty trip schedule is out, and now Josh is going to show you our slow pitch jig fishing schedule. Under fishing trips, hit fishing, or under fishing trips, hit trips, scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see the slow pitch jigging trips. And on this page, oh man, look at the dates. Epic failure. I put 2022 instead of 2023. So my bad, y'all. But this is the right dates for 2023. I just accidentally typed 2022. So we'll fix that up tonight. But these are the correct dates for 2023. So if you want to come out and join us for a slow pitch jig fishing trip, only jig fishing, jigging only on these trips. We've got 3 39-hour trips, jigging only next year. And then we've got countless 12-hour extremes. There's quite a few of them going on, a total of 18 12-hour extremes next year. So more than one jigging trip a month. And we are taking red snapper season off. But besides June, July, and the first half of August, there is a ton of slow pitch jig fishing trips next year. So definitely make sure you join us for those events. So very excited about all those upcoming events and good stuff that's going on this year in 2023. So let's give away another free trip. We're going to give away our 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that. We'll get into your questions. David Landsteiner, congratulations from Minnesota. Minnesota. David, you are the lucky winner. You got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip by texting us your home address right there on the screen. Yes, the Salt Strong FG knot. I see some of you guys talking about that in the comments. The FG knot, I think, is what kind of put Salt Strong on the map. They made a video of how to tie an FG knot in their basement, I believe. Maybe it wasn't a basement because they were living in Florida at the time, but it got like 1.2 million views on YouTube. It's one of their most popular videos they've ever filmed. And they've actually remade it a few times, and the remakes have thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, so it's pretty entertaining that they've done so well. They're good people. Really, really enjoy supporting our friends over there at Salt Strong. So with that, let's get into some questions and see what you guys want to talk about. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to know? Do you have a question? Do you have a comment? Do you want to talk about something? Shoot us a text message to the phone number on the screen, 727-393-1947, and we can get into your questions. So let's see here. How do I get my name in the drawing for a trip? We explained it earlier in the video a couple of times. All you have to do is comment and like the video on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That is how you get into the drawings. What is going on with the dredging of the sand? So dredging of the sand should hopefully begin at the end of January, early February is what I was told. But unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of high hopes. The county has really been a little bit of a roadblock this entire process, so I'm a little concerned that they're going to be putting the roadblock on us again. But I'm hoping that they will follow through and continue to move forward. It's supposed to be end of January, early February. Can you go over any business expansion you might be having? So this year for 2023, we are really focused on our new business, which is Don's Dock. So we've expanded down the boardwalk, and that has been a really big move for us. Now we have a dock with a bunch of deep water slips. We have a fuel dock. We have more room for bait sales and live bait sales. We've partnered with some really good people, caddies, Saltwater Hippie, and just lots of good people over there at the Don's Dock location. So we're excited. Big things happening there. And also this year, we're really focused on expanding our marketing mix, if you will, and then building our Hubbard's media company. So for those of you who don't know, we actually have a media company that builds websites, does digital media, and ad design, logo creation, brand kits, literally anything and everything digital media wise, internet media related. We do consulting on social media marketing, a bunch of different stuff. So we're really focused on Don's Dock and Hubbard's Media in 2023 and building both of those companies up. And then also finalizing and working through plans for a new party boat is going to be the goal for end of 2023 if things go according to plan. If life falls into line, that will be the end goal here very soon. It's definitely on the short-term goal list of purchasing a new party boat and building from scratch a custom boat. So that's what we're working towards. But as of short term, we are building 2 new boats currently, and they should be ready very soon. One will be another version of our Hub charter boat. That should be ready hopefully by summer. And then we are in the final stages of completing another sightseeing boat, pontoon-style vessel that we're going to use down there at our Fort DeSoto to Egmont Key ferry route. So 2 new boats that we are currently in the process of building ourselves. My cousin Sam is welding and putting together the pontoon boat, and Captain Brian and a small team, really Captain Brian and my dad are fiberglassing and building the Hub 2. So very, very excited about those 2 new boats coming online as well. And then just building up our great team at Hubbard's Marina, our Hubbard's Marina family of fishing friends and clients and guests, and of course our staff and team. Just focused on that this year for the most part. What's the best time and trip to troll for kings? Kingfish are typically most frequently caught spring and fall. Water temperatures between 72, 73 to about 78 degrees. We most of the time see them March, April into May, and then around late September, early October, mid-October through about November-ish, depending on weather. It really comes down to the weather. Water temperature is key, about 72 to about 78 degrees. Our spring run is always stronger than our fall run. Lately, it's been a little bit tough for both. Hopefully, we'll see a strong spring run for kingfish, but it's been a little bit tough as of late. What's the best trip to troll for them? You can only troll on our 5-hour half day, and then our 39 and 44-hour trip. You cannot troll on our 10-hour all day, the 12-hour night snapper, and the 12-hour extreme especially no. So no trolling on the 10 and 12-hour trips. 5-hour, 39, 44-hour are best to troll for the kingfish. Really, 5-hour half days are the way to go, especially double half days in spring. You get a lot of opportunities to troll on the way out, way back, because if you do double half days, the morning and the afternoon, you get 4 hours of trolling time, basically, to troll for kingfish. What is the hook knot called that is used on the 12-hour extreme rental rods? Man, they tie that fast. What you're probably referring to is our snell knot. So Josh is actually navigating there, so I'll just let you guys watch him navigate. Under fishing trips, click fishing video links, then click fishing tips and tricks. That's going to bring you to our fishing tips page on our website. And we have rigging tips here that are going to show you how to tie a bunch of different knots. We actually have a bunch of the Salt Strong videos tied in here. We should embed that 90-10 fishing rule right here. That's a good idea. That's a good one. We'll mark that one down for after the show. But a lot of our Salt Strong videos and then a lot of videos that we made ourselves are on here too. And the video or the knot you're talking about is how to tie a snell knot. So we have this video here. This is how to tie a nail knot. This is the knot that I recommend and the knot you most likely saw. If you did not see this knot, the other knot that we use a lot, but we most of the time use this only for you can only use this for putting hooks on, and it's going to be right here, how to tie a double snell rig. That is the knot that we use on hooks, and on the half day trip we'll use it for just single hooks. On the long range trips we'll use the snell knot for big grouper hooks. But really, if I'm tying on a hook or a swivel and I'm not doing a double snell, I'm always using a nail knot. So if it doesn't need to have motion, like I'm always tying a nail knot. So terminal tackle, nail knot. If I'm doing a double hook rig, it's always a double snell. And then if I'm putting on a lure that doesn't have a split ring, I'm using the Rapala knot, the Rapala loop knot to be specific. So that's my go-to knots, in my opinion. But everybody has their own favorite knots. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? What type of fish can you catch on the 10-hour trip in February? So February, and someone asked earlier about January. Really, January and February are all the same as far as 10-hour trips go. We're targeting those red grouper, lane snapper, and specifically hogfish. You might have a chance for some vermilion if we're fishing deeper for those red grouper. And then you have a really good shot at plentiful gray snapper or white grunts, porgies, and maybe some big black sea bass as well. But most of the time we're targeting and really going after those hogfish on that 10-hour all-day trip in January and February. Is there any difference in fishing from the front of the boat as opposed to the back of the boat on your 10-hour trip? Not really. On our 5-hour half day, we drift fish a majority of the time, so it really doesn't matter where you fish. Anywhere on the boat is good. On a 10-hour trip, we drift a little bit, but we anchor fish a lot too, especially when we're targeting those hogfish. When we are anchor fishing, again, it really doesn't really much matter where you fish because we're covering a bigger spot, and those fish move around the spot. So in my opinion, there's really not one spot better than any other to fish on the boat. And when I go fishing personally, I don't book a spot and tell a customer, oh, you can't fish here, and hold it for myself. I just go fishing. And then whatever spot's open on the boat is where I end up fishing. And most of the time, that's at the front. I kind of prefer fishing the front because I've almost always fished there, just because a lot of people think the back of the boat's the best spot to fish, and that's not true because I almost always fish the front of the boat, and I almost always have a pretty good trip. So I really do strongly recommend thinking about fishing the front half of the boat, or on either side of the boat, towards the front, middle, forward. If we have 30 people on the boat, I can almost guarantee you 20 of those 30 will be on the back half of the boat. Most in the stern, and then down either side, as close as they can get to the stern. When people book, they almost always say, I want a stern spotter as close to this back of the boat as I can get on the side. Almost always what they say. So that is why I like fishing the front half of the boat, as far away from everybody who wants to get close together and fish together as I can, because I get more room that way and generally have more ability to stay away from other lines and catch more fish ultimately. So I like the front half of the boat, and also I like trying to cast out away from the boat. That takes a lot of skill and practice. Really just practice. It doesn't take too much skill. It just takes practice. So practice makes progress, and there's really only one way to get really good at casting conventional rods, and that's by practicing. So go out there and practice trying to underhand cast a conventional rod, or really on a 5 or 10 hour trip, you can bring a spinning rod with you. But if you get good at casting a conventional rod, it's good even on a 39-hour trip, because there's never a time that I'm not casting out away from the boat. I want to get out and away from the boat, so that way my line, my hook, my bait, my jig is going to hit the bottom further away than anybody else's. Because you got to think about, let's say my cell phone is a boat. I'm going to put it right over here. So my cell phone is a boat. So this thing is the boat. On the outer perimeter of this boat is going to be a bunch of fishermen dropping lines. Oh, yeah, he's pulling it up. Thank you, Josh. Oh, you guys are ready for this. We're starting off 2023 right. We're going to start drawing pictures, and it's going to be fun. So hopefully you guys are ready for this. Do I have the mouse? I do have the mouse. Look at that. All right, so we're going to draw a boat. So here's the stern, and so here's the side. It's going to be not perfect. It's going to be a little scary. I'm glad I'm not freehanding this. I'm actually using the line. So here's our boat, and let's say this thing over here are people. There's going to be people up and down either side of this boat dropping lines, right? So everybody's going to be dropping lines down to the bottom, and all the way around the perimeter of this boat, people are dropping lines, right? So let's say there's 20 people on the boat. There's lines all the way around the boat dropping down to the bottom. So a fish that's looking up from the bottom at this is caught in this ring of fire, right? And there's all of these little explosions of sand and bait and lines going to the bottom, and this fish is on the bottom like, what in the world is going on? And all the smaller aggressive fish are going to be coming in here and eating. And all the gray snapper, the vermilions, the spot tails, they come in really fast and they get excited and they start eating. Well, Dylan's up here, or an experienced angler is up here, and they're going to cast out away from the boat, and their bait's going to hit the bottom here. And all of a sudden now you're outside of that ring of fire. And that bigger fish, that big old gag grouper or hogfish or big keeper mangrove, I hope you guys are really enjoying this as much as I am. The bigger fish is out here, and he's going to come over here, and he's going to eat that bait because he's not going to be scared. He's not going to be away from that ring of fire, and you're going to get more chances at more quality fish by getting your bait out away from the boat. So casting out is always a good idea. Now, a lot of times, once you cast out and you hit the bottom, the bait is eventually going to make its way back to you, and it's going to be vertical. So being vertical is not a bad thing, and you always like to cast out and start further away, but eventually you're going to be back vertical. And I love doing that because think about jig fishing inshore. If you're covering a grass flat, what do you want to do? You want to have that trolling motor down. You want to be covering the grass flat. You want to be casting your lure and covering water, right? So if you're anchor fishing on a party boat, the further out you can cast, the further out your bait hits away from you. If it all of a sudden works back to you, you've covered 50 feet, 100 feet of bottom. You've shown your bait to more fish. You've gotten outside of the ring of fire, and you've had a chance to catch that bigger, more quality fish that's hanging back. Something that I did at a young age that really, really opened my eyes was I just read your comment, Josh. Josh wrote in Facebook, he said, artwork for sale, contact Josh. You could frame that. What was I saying? Something I did at a young age that really influenced me. Still to this day, every time I'm out fishing, I think about it, was going diving with my dad at a young age. I was 13 years old, probably, maybe even a little younger, just gotten comfortable in the water, scuba diving, and we dove down on this 3-foot ledge, 4-foot ledge, 40 foot of water, super shallow dive. It was crystal clear water. It was beautiful. We brought a chum block down there with us. I think it might have even been a case of thread fins. I forget. But big old thing of bait. We went right down to the bottom, went negative buoyancy. My dad crawled over and set this chum block in front of the ledge and then backed up. So two very tall, lanky, big Hubbard dudes sinking down to the bottom, dropping a chum block in front of a ledge, and then sitting there 10, 15 feet back. So you can imagine these fish are probably in a little bit of shock. But almost immediately, that chum block hit the bottom, these little fish come out. The gray snappers, the spot tails, the squirrel fish, the lizard fish immediately come out and start eating. Whereas the mangrove snapper, the bigger vermilion snapper, or whatever more quality fish hung back and kind of did a loop or two and kind of stayed away, like, what in the world's going on with those guys over there? And didn't really bite right away. They just kind of watched what was happening, and then slowly they came in and the mangrove started to feed, and then we saw a hogfish, and then way, way off in the distance you see this big dark shadow, and it gets closer and closer, and then eventually you see this gag grouper. Well, he didn't even eat until that chum block was almost gone, and then he finally came in and smashed it. But he stayed back and watched this process for 15, 20 minutes before he ever came in and bit. And he was unsure. He was nervous. He was leader shy. He's that big, aggressive fish staying outside of that ring of fire. So long story short, casting out, getting away from the boat is going to show your bait to more quality fish, give you a chance at a bigger opportunity for a bigger, more quality fish as well. So really, really long rabbit trail, but hopefully you guys get the picture. Josh, next question. Let's see what it is. I met the baby fish guy, the guy who asks us where baby fish come from all the time. Yeah, he came out fishing with us recently. Yeah, he did. Yeah, so where do baby fish come from? Where's the transducer actually located on the boat? So great question. That actually comes from the old wives' tale of the back of the boat's the best place to fish because that's where the transducer is. That's not true. That hasn't been true for probably a little more than half my lifetime. I mean, they came out with through-hole transducers in the 90s, I think. Early 2000s, they perfected it. And since I can remember, we've always had through-hole transducers, which means the transducer is either in the inside of the boat shooting through the hole, or we have a through hole where the transducer is mounted flush with the bottom of the boat. So meaning the transducer is no longer in the back of the boat, it's midships, or typically as short of a run from where your screen is or your unit is to the bottom. So most of the time, it's almost always right above the wheelhouse is where the transducer is. In our case, both our big party boats, Flying Hub 2, every single one of our boats, the transducer is almost directly underneath or just behind the wheelhouse. So midships is where the transducer is. That means the captain is trying to put the middle of the boat on the fish. Sometimes the top half of the ledge or bottom half of the ledge might be in the front or the back, but that's where the transducer is located, in midships. Is there a live well for live bait at the front of the boat on the 10-hour trip? No. On our 10-hour all day, we take the Friendly Fisherman, and that boat is only got one live well. It's located at the stern or back of the vessel. So if you want to use live pinfish, you just got to pop back there real quick and grab a pinfish and bring it back up to the front. I don't find it too much of a pain. Some people do, and you can bring your own little 5-gallon bucket with a bubbler. That way you can keep a couple pinfish at your feet if you're worried about making a trip back and forth to the back of the boat. But I don't find it to be too much of a challenge. As far as shrimp goes, a lot of people will bring their own little bubbler bucket, and that way you can bring the shrimp up to you and then bring them back in the live well every now and again if you don't want to leave your bubbler running all day. So it's kind of up to you. What is the recommended weighted line for hogfish? We typically use 30-pound braided line, 20 to 30-pound braided line in your spinning reel with about a 15-foot piece or so of 30-pound fluorocarbon is a good idea. That's what I would recommend at least. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? What is the best month for hogfish? Hogfish typically bite best anywhere from October to around March, April-ish. Cooler weather definitely has the best option for the hogfish. Warmer weather, they get a little bit more spread out. They do their mating thing out away from the ledges, and they also get a lot more pressure from spear fishermen. So summertime, mid to late spring through early fall, we don't get as much concentrated hogfish action. We do still catch hogfish, we just don't catch them as often or as in high numbers. Do you have Hubbard's Marina stickers for your automobiles? Yes, we do sell Hubbard's Marina bumper stickers on our online store, and Josh just texted you a link to the online store as well for that bumper sticker. So lots of good options for you to get plenty of souvenirs from us at Hubbard's Marina on our online store, by the way. Let's see here. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Starting to get lost in the sauce over here. Did I win the 10-hour trip giveaway? No, I don't think you did. That's not the right question I was looking for. Anyway, is there a best time to find fiddler crabs or mud crabs? Our fiddler crab guy goes out and catches those fiddler crabs at night, low tide. Low tide is the trick. You need a low tide at night, and moon phases help. So you need a little bit of a moon. You need a good low, extreme low at night. So darkness, low tide, a little bit of moonlight helps a lot. And then a good flashlight and a lot of speed and a lot of willpower. That's the secret to finding fiddler crabs. I don't have the speed or the willpower to go hunting through the mangroves at low tide, but some people do. And they do work really well for hogfish, sheepshead, even some other fish like pompano love them, trout love them. We catch a lot of fish on the fiddler crabs. Our red grouper biting near shore on the 10-hour trip this time of year. We historically have done really well on red grouper most of the time in warmer months, but lately it's kind of been steady, almost the same, cooler and warmer months, and we haven't seen tons of numbers near shore, but we start to see them pretty good when we're fishing a little deeper, 70, 80, 90, 100 foot. So when we're targeting hogfish and catching hogfish well, we don't catch as many red grouper on the 10-hour trip. So hogfish time of year, we don't target the red grouper as much on a 10-hour. Once the hogfish start slowing down, we fish deeper on the 10-hour, 70, 80, 90, 100 foot, and target those red grouper, and our red grouper catch goes up. So typically it's either hogfish or red grouper, and typically this time of year the hogfish bites better than the red grouper bites, so we're going to stay a little shallower and target the hogfish mostly on those 10-hour all days. Not to say you can't catch a keeper red grouper on a 10-hour trip, it's just a little less likely, I would say. Let's see, how is the 12-hour extreme trip looking for Wednesday? I think we forgot to talk about the weather. I think we did forget to talk about the weather. So let's do that quickly on our website real fast to answer this question. So on our website under fishing trips, you can always click weather links. And on our weather links page, you can see right here on the top left-hand side, we're going to start in the 5 and 10-hour forecast area. We're also going to look at the 10 and 12 and the 12-hour extreme forecast area. So we're going to start in the 5-hour forecast area. Egmont Key Channel, it looks really, really nice. Tomorrow, less than 1 foot, basically, less than 10 knots. Going to be gorgeous tomorrow. Tuesday, start to pick up a little bit with an east wind. Starts to shift out of the south as we get an approaching low pressure. The wind starts to pick up a little bit. So near shore, Tuesday is about 2.5 foot. So nothing bad. Weather looks good for Tuesday's 10-hour trip. Just a little bumpy. Wednesday picks up a little bit more, 2 to 3 foot. Not terrible. Still fishable on our 5-hour half day, but it's going to get windy and bumpy Wednesday. Then Thursday afternoon, late afternoon, that cold front comes through. Thursday's rain chance is going to be up. Seas 2 to 3 foot, so Thursday's really not bad either. So we can pretty much fish every day this week, Monday through Thursday. And that cold front coming through late Thursday, early Friday. The fishing should be pretty good this week. It might be a little bumpy, but I would say even Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday, the fishing's going to be good. We're going to be coming up on a full moon. We've got a big cold front coming through. Friday is really when the wind picks up out of the north and the wind and the seas pick up quite a bit. So Friday looks a little bumpy. Then it goes back again to beautiful on the backside of that front. It's going to dry out. It's going to be a little bit chilly. It's going to be nice. So definitely going to cool off for us this weekend. So that was the 5 and 10-hour forecast area. We're going to step out a little deeper here. Same trend. Monday is gorgeous. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit more bumpy. Not terrible. But definitely Wednesday is looking a little too bumpy for an extreme trip with 4-footers. Let's work our way out a little deeper into our furthest offshore forecast. I would say Wednesday's not looking great for a 12-hour extreme trip, unfortunately. But I would say Monday, weather looks best this week, followed by probably Sunday, giving some time for it to warm up behind that front. Fishing should be good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday probably too. But weather's going to be best Monday. Fishing's going to be good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have a full moon coming later this week, and we have that low pressure coming later this week. So both of those things should have the fish really excited through the work week. So good time to get out there on the water. Just got to watch out for that weather. Time your trips around the weather. So we are out of time tonight. Definitely want to make sure we get to some of these other questions. We'll try our best to get to your questions and text you back. But unfortunately don't have the time to get to every question, every show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Remember, we do this every single Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. So we hope to see you next week and every week for the live stream show. And hopefully you enjoyed the added bonus of the New Year's special, of artwork. Mark Williams, appreciate those stars, buddy. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate your support, and everyone else who sent stars tonight. Very, very appreciative of that. Really helps us to fuel the live show and do more cool stuff. We talked about our schedule for next year. Want to make sure we give a thank you, besides those of you who sent stars, a big thank you and shout out to our supporters. Remember, if you're in our supporters group, our supporters after show is going to start at 9:45. So if you want to join us for the after show, 9:45, we'll see you in the supporters group for that private after show for the supporters. Again, it's only $4.99 a month, and it's a great opportunity to learn more, have more one-on-one experience, and enjoy that after show as well. So we'll see all the supporters for our after show at 9:45 p.m. Big shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't stopped over there and seen our friends at Gator Jim's, make sure you do so. And don't forget, y'all, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Want to give a thank you as well to all our sponsors and partners at Salt Strong, Yamaha Outboard Engines, at Engel Coolers, at Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, and Aquatic Nutrition Sport Fishing Chums. Appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, share the video. We'll see you next week for another episode every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Trovo, and Twitch channels. Don't forget to also check us out on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and the Fishbrain app, all that good stuff. Make sure you check out our TikTok channel. We've been putting some effort in there, so hopefully you enjoy it. And with that, let's find out who won our 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Let's see who that winner is. Brian C. Congratulations, Brian C. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip by texting the phone number at the on the screen. And hopefully we'll see you soon for another episode. Hopefully we'll see you out January 11th at O'Brien's Fishing Club, January 13th, 14th, and 15th for our Seafood Fest in Johns Pass, January 22nd at Bass Pro Shops in Tampa at 2 p.m., and January 27th, final Friday, crawfish boil. Don't miss out. Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week for another episode.